This is my video update on this Tuesday, midday, June the 25th. Let's talk about some news. And the big story is that Julian Assange is free. That is the big story for today. Julian Assange was released from Belmarsh prison. He will be traveling to the North Mariana Islands in the Pacific, and he will plead guilty to violating the U.S. Espionage Act. He will get time served, and then he will be going to Australia. That is what is going on. So all in all, it's a very good day, some very good news. Yes, Assange will plead guilty. This is true, but this is the deal that was worked out. And he has been imprisoned for 12 years, 5 years in Belmarsh, and I believe 7 years in the Ecuador embassy in London. Yeah, 12 years. So, Julian Assange will plead guilty to the Espionage Act, violating the U.S. Espionage Act. Something that the mainstream media sites do all the time. From Michael Tracy, Julian Assange has reportedly agreed to plead guilty to violating the Espionage Act in exchange for release from prison. Just a reminder, possessing or accessing material related to the national defense of the USA is something that the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, CNN, etc. do every day. Exactly. Well said, Michael Tracy. Julian Assange did absolutely nothing wrong. But this is the deal that they worked out. And I'm happy for Julian Assange. I'm happy for Stella Assange, his family. This is very good news. And interesting that the Biden White House worked this out and got this deal done 2 days before the debate with Trump, huh? Isn't that interesting? Timing is everything. So Biden can have the debate with Trump, and he can say that he worked out a deal to release Julian Assange. I think that will win Biden some favor with some voters, with a large part of the voting base in the United States, getting a deal to release Assange. That'll play in Biden's favor. And he got the guilty plea, which is probably something that the deep state, the permanent state, the neocons insisted on. He has to plead guilty to violating the U.S. Espionage Act. So the Biden White House worked out a deal that Trump should have worked out a long time ago. But Trump didn't. Instead, Trump listened to guys like Mike Pence, who tweeted this out. Let's cross. Mike Pence tweeted, "Julian Assange endangered the lives of our troops in a time of war and should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The Biden administration's plea deal with Assange is a miscarriage of justice and dishonors the service and sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces and their families. There should be no plea deals to avoid prison for anyone that endangers the security of our military or the national security of the United States ever." That is what Mike Pence tweeted out. Trump's former VP. Yeah, timing is everything. Timing is everything, and Biden goes into the debate able to announce that he got the guilty plea from Assange and he got Assange released. So that is the big news for today. Very, very big news. Let's walk straight. Let's keep on going straight. So yesterday, the Russian Foreign Ministry, they summoned the U.S. ambassador in Russia to the Foreign Ministry, and they gave the U.S. ambassador in Russia a dressing down. They basically told the ambassador of the United States that the U.S. is a party to this war, is basically what they said for the most part. By helping the Ukraine military to target the beach in Crimea, the U.S. is acting as if it is a party to this war, and Russia will retaliate. That is what they told the U.S. ambassador in Moscow. And Peskov was asked about the U.S. ambassador being summoned to the foreign ministry and being warned that, being told that Russia will retaliate. And Peskov, he said that all you have to do is pretty much look at the information behind the attacks, understand who provided the targeting and the surveillance for the attackums, and you come to the conclusion that the United States was involved in this attack. That's pretty much what Peskov said. And then Peskov said that despite all of this, despite the attack in Crimea and the U.S.'s involvement in the attack in Crimea, Peskov said that Putin is still open to negotiations. He said Putin's peace proposal is still valid. A lot of wind today. A lot of wind. That's what Peskov said. Maybe not the best timing to say that Putin's peace proposal is still valid. I probably would not have said that during a conversation connected to the terror attack in Crimea. But that is what Peskov said. He pointed out that Putin's peace proposal for Ukraine remains valid and stated that the time frame of this offer remains unchanged. Podolyak, Zelensky's BFF, he gave an interview yesterday and he said that the beachgoers in Crimea, the citizens in Crimea that were killed or injured in this terror attack, that they are occupiers. And Podolyak, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but in summary, Podolyak said that they pretty much deserved it. That was basically what Podolyak said in a statement yesterday. I'll put the text of his statement up on the screen so you can read it. But that was what Podolyak was basically saying during this interview. They are occupiers, and as occupiers, they're not safe in Crimea. While at the same time, Ukraine insists that Crimea is part of Ukraine. So they insist that Crimea is part of Ukraine and they're trying to liberate Crimea. This is what the Zelensky regime is saying, while at the same time you have Podolyak saying that the very people that they're trying to liberate are the people that deserved this attack on the beach. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Nope, it does not. But the State Department was asked about the terror attack and Russia's warning, Russia blaming the United States for helping to coordinate this strike. And the State Department spokesman, I always forget the dude's name. Is it Matthew Miller or Matt Miller? I always forget his name. Anyway, he said, and I quote, "We provide weapons to Ukraine so that it can defend its sovereign territory against armed aggression. That includes in Crimea, which is, of course, a part of Ukraine." That is what the State Department said. Once again, you're saying it's a part of Ukraine. So then, if it's a part of Ukraine, the people that are in Crimea, going by your logic, State Department spokesman, those people are the people that Ukraine is fighting to liberate, if you go by the statement from the State Department spokesman. So then why are you attacking the very people that you are trying to save? Make it make sense. Yesterday, the man in the green t-shirt fired one of his top commanders on the orders of the Azov guys. So the Azov guys, they told Zelensky to fire one of his top commanders because they said that this top commander is so bad that he's killing more Ukrainians with his command than the Russians are. And so Zelensky, on the orders of the Azov guys, fired this commander. I think this was the commander. I believe his name is Sobol, Commander Sobol. If I'm not mistaken, I think this commander was partying in Odessa or was filmed drinking in Odessa when his unit was fighting the Russian military, or something like that came out on the internet. Some sort of mini scandal surrounding either this commander or a different commander. Anyway, this guy got canned. I think Zelensky fired another commander yesterday as well. I'm not sure what the name of that commander is. But not a good sign when you're firing military commanders, huh? Not a good sign at all. So the German opposition leader, Friedrich Merz of the CDU, he gave an interview yesterday. I think it was to the Times that he gave this interview. And Merz said that Germany, Europe, the collective West, they need to find a way to get to a ceasefire in Ukraine. That is what Merz said. We must see that we open up possibilities for how to bring this conflict to an end at some point. To an end at some point. Okay? That's what Merz said. Now, Merz has been very hawkish when it comes to the conflict in Ukraine and Russia. So this is quite a shift in his position, even though it's very open-ended. Bring this conflict to an end at some point. Very open-ended statement, but still, it's progress, I guess. Merz is sensing the sentiment in Germany, the feelings in Germany with regards to this proxy war and the results of the EU Parliament elections, and so he's toning down his hawkishness just a bit. He's toning down his hawkishness just a bit. Progress, though. It is progress. And it's important because Merz will most likely be the next chancellor of Germany. Most likely. It'll either be Merz or Annalena, 360. Nah, Annalena's not going to be chancellor, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. So that came out of Germany. That's a big story. And then we had this morning a report from Reuters, which came out that everyone is talking about. And it has to do with Trump's peace plan for Ukraine if he wins the presidency in November. Now, Reuters, their title is a bit misleading. Just a bit misleading. Trump reviews plan to halt U.S. military aid to Ukraine unless it negotiates peace with Moscow. Now, this really isn't Trump's plan. Basically, what Reuters is reporting is that two guys who put together this plan, and they were actually part of Trump's foreign policy team, or they were advisors to Trump in when he was president. What were their names? Kellogg's and Flights, I believe is the guy's name. I don't have it in front of me. But these guys, they put together this policy paper, this plan to get to peace in Ukraine, and they presented it to Trump. And they presented this plan to Trump, and they said that Trump reviewed it, and he looked at it favorably, and that's it. So this is not really Trump's plan. This is a foreign policy team that they were part, or they were advising the Trump White House at a point in time, and this is the plan that they came up with to get to peace in Ukraine, to get to a ceasefire, not even peace, to get to a ceasefire. This is the plan they came up with, and Trump, he reviewed the plan, and he was like, okay, interesting. What's next? That's pretty much what happened. But Reuters is presenting this as if it's Trump's plan, or this is a plan that Trump is getting behind. And he would be absolutely crazy to get behind this plan, because this plan, if it was put into policy, is DOA. DOA. I think in the Reuters article, I remember reading that one of Trump's campaign advisors even said that unless Trump comes out and supports this plan, like Trump himself comes out and says this is a good plan, then this is not Trump's position on Ukraine. So until you hear from Trump, this is just one of many ideas that come across his desk. But let me read you a bit of what Reuters is reporting. Two key advisors to Donald Trump have presented him with a plan to end Russia's war in Ukraine if he wins the presidential election. That involves telling Ukraine it will only get more U.S. weapons if it enters into peace talks. The United States would at the same time warn Moscow that any refusal to negotiate would result in increased U.S. support for Ukraine. Retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, one of Trump's national security advisors, said in an interview, "We tell the Ukrainians, you've got to come to the table, and if you don't come to the table, support from the United States will dry up," he said. "And you tell Russian President Vladimir Putin he's got to come to the table, and if you don't come to the table, then we'll give Ukrainians everything they need to kill you in the field." According to their research paper, Moscow would also be coaxed to the table with some promise of NATO membership for Ukraine being put off for an extended period. Yeah, this plan is DOA, man. DOA. Never gonna happen. Can you imagine Trump going to the Putin administration, to Russia, and saying that if you don't come to the table, we're going to what did this guy Kellogg say? We're going to give Ukraine everything they need to kill you in the field. That's a direct quote from Kellogg, one of the guys that put this plan together. Can you imagine going to Russia and saying that? The Putin administration would laugh. They would laugh because they've already demilitarized half of the collective West. How many more weapons can you give? You've already given Ukraine $500 billion and every single weapon that you pretty much have in your arsenal, with the exception of what? Tactical nukes and F-16s, and the F-16s are coming. What more is there left to give? Germany's pretty much been demilitarized. The UK has been demilitarized. So many countries in Europe have nothing more to give. Nothing. Zero, zilch, nada, nichevo. Nonsense. This plan is nonsense. The plan also says that that Ukraine is going to be given security guarantees in the form of protection and weapons from the United States. That's going to be the security guarantees that Ukraine gets. And what Russia gets is they're going to say that Ukraine doesn't enter NATO for an extended period of time. It will be postponed. Ukraine's NATO membership will be postponed for an extended period of time. That's just a load of bollocks. What Russia wants is written in stone, 100% guarantee that Ukraine be neutral forever, ever, ever. Unbreakable. Ukraine remains neutral. That's what Russia wants. Not Ukraine doesn't enter NATO, or Ukraine's NATO membership is postponed for an extended period. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Give me a break, man. Anyway, that's these guys' plan. And basically they're saying that it's important. They told Reuters that it's important that Trump get to a ceasefire the minute he gets into the Oval Office. That's what these guys said. I'm curious what the other guy's name is. 1 second. Let me see if I've got this article bookmarked, the full article. Flights, Kellogg and Flights. This is their plan. Keith Kellogg, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, and Fred Flights. They both served as chiefs of staff in Trump's National Security Council during his 2017 to 2021 presidency. They also said in this plan that there would be a ceasefire based on prevailing battle lines during peace talks. Trump spokesman Stephen Chung said only statements made by Trump or authorized members of his campaign should be deemed official. So this is not even official. There's nothing official about this plan. It's two guys that worked in Trump's National Security Council that came up with this plan, presented it to him, and Trump saw this plan and said, okay, this is interesting. Maybe Trump does adopt this as policy. Who knows? Maybe he does. But at this moment, this is not Trump's plan to get to a ceasefire in Ukraine. A lot of people are talking about this, though. So let's move on and discuss EU sanctions. The EU 14th sanctions package. Yeah, they're going after Russia's LNG ghost fleet. That is what the EU is going after in this sanctions package. In an effort to push Russia into using more costly routes for energy purposes, the EU ministers said in a statement the EU will forbid reloading services of Russian LNG in EU territory for the purpose of transshipment operations to third countries. The EU estimates that about 4 to 6 billion cubic meters of Russian LNG was shipped to third countries via EU ports last year. Russia is suspected of running a ghost fleet of up to 400 ships to evade sanctions and keep up the flow of energy earnings so that it can finance the war. The measures will target ship-to-ship and ship-to-shore transfers as well as reloading operations. It also involves a crackdown on the re-export of LNG to third countries via the EU, plus a ban on new investments to help Russia complete LNG projects it is working on. So that's the big part of the EU's 14th sanctions package, going after the ghost fleets. The ghost fleet, it sounds like something out of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Didn't the Pirates of the Caribbean have a ghost fleet? I think they did. Captain Jack Sparrow and Captain Olaf Schultz. Pirate Schultz, arg. We have to go after the Russian ghost fleet, arg. What do you say, Ursula von der Pirate? Are you with Captain Pirate Olaf Schultz? So they're going to go after the ghost fleet, and they're not going to allow this ghost fleet to reload at EU ports. They're not going to allow this ghost fleet to stop at EU ports with their LNG and then to reload and deliver more LNG onwards. Right? Is that what they're saying? That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. It's going to forbid reloading services of Russian LNG in EU territory for the purpose of transshipment operation to third countries. Yeah, but the ships are also stopping at EU ports and they're delivering LNG. They're delivering LNG and then they're moving on, right? Is that how it goes? So the EU is going to forbid this. Sounds to me like the EU is about to cut off its nose to spite its face. That's what it sounds to me like. It looks like the only LNG that's going to be arriving at the European Union is going to be what? US LNG? That's it? That is it. Oh boy. I sense an increase in energy prices just in time for the winter. Man, EU, this does not sound like a good idea. I imagine that this ghost fleet, if they're not able to go to EU ports, they're just going to skip the EU altogether, right? I mean, if you're not allowed to stop at the EU ports, then why go? Why should I deliver my LNG to the European Union if you're not allowing me to stop at your ports, European Union? I might as well not go to EU ports. Ooh, not good. Not good at all. The EU's doing this on purpose. They're not this dumb, are they? Are they this dumb? Maybe they are this dumb. But I think they're doing this on purpose. They want to drive up energy prices. They want to make the US the only game in town. Anyway, this is a good segue into clown world, because part of the EU sanctions, the 14th sanctions package, was not only LNG, but sanctioning artists and singers and actors, Russian artists, singers, and actors. Oh, and also Kadyrov's mom. The EU put Kadyrov's 70-year-old mom on the sanctions list. Okay. Oh boy, 70-year-old mom on the sanctions list. And a bunch of actors and singers, Russian actors and singers, were placed on the sanctions list. Most notably, the very popular pop rock singer Shaman. He was placed on the sanctions list because he sings the song "I Am Russian," and that is spreading Russian propaganda, according to the European Union. He's been placed on the sanctions list because he sings the song "Ya Ruski," which is actually a very catchy song, to be quite honest. If you listen to it, it's pretty catchy. I think even Ukrainians sing that song. I think at one point in time it was like on the charts in Spotify, streaming in Spotify in Ukraine. It was like in the top 10. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's a super catchy song, I have to admit. But that's the reason that they're placing him on the sanctions list. And then Kadyrov's mom, obviously they're placing Kadyrov's mom on the sanctions list because they're probably going to say that money's being funneled through her and stuff like that, nonsense like that. Whatever. Whatever. Oh boy, it's just such a waste of time and money at the EU.
Are you online?
Am I online?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm videotaping. I'm filming.
Okay.
Yes.
I just recognized you.
Yeah.
You are from the Duran.
Yes.
Wow. I'm working from the delivery shop, and here you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
I have not expected. That is so cool.
Thanks.
Well,
Thanks, man.
I think it's the first time I'm meeting someone from the screen.
from the small screen. What's your name, man?
I'm Mike.
Mike, nice to meet you. Alex, good to meet you.
Yeah. I've been watching you since I don't know since when, but for a year.
Yeah?
Probably, yes. It's like a daily show for me. Yes, I'm
awesome.
Renovating my room, and I'm just I'm wearing my headphones, and here you are in my ears, and here you are.
Yeah, walk it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
your voice is going to be on video, not you, but just your voice.
Yeah,
is that all right? Okay.
Yes.
Just your voice. Yeah.
May I take a picture with you?
Yeah, sure. Let me see. Okay, so I'll film this. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna move it like this, and wow, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
It would be an even more shock if I met Alexander.
Mercuris. Well, Alexander, if you're watching this, Mike says hello. I know you're going to watch this, Alexander, so Mike in Moscow says hello.
Wow. So Alexander's
going to hear this, yeah.
Wow. So, okay, I'm not going to disturb you. I'm out of my, let's say, speaking capacities. So I'm
awesome, Mike.
I'm excellent at listening and reading, but, well, no. I'm underappreciating my level of speaking. So
perfect, man. Your English is great. You have an American accent, huh?
Yeah, probably because I watch a lot of American.
Yeah, you have an
videos.
American accent,
yes.
Man. Cool.
British? Yeah, Alexander.
You see, Alexander, it's an American accent, not a British accent.
Alexander is British. I was taught at the university. Well, I don't know. Probably it was English pronunciation, but watching to American videos.
That's it. You haven't studied English or taken a course or anything. Okay, you have.
Since kindergarten.
Okay, yeah, your English is perfect, man. Great.
Yeah, thanks.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
That's let's say an evidence that I'm not just about listening and reading, but about speaking too.
Good.
Yes, I've written to some professors in the USA, so that experience is there too. But speaking experience with a person from from the screen, I can't believe it.
Awesome.
So, okay.
Awesome. Mike,
Have a nice
great
experience
to meet you.
in Moscow,
Thank
in
you.
Russia.
Thank you
Thanks
very much.
for reviewing all the perspectives from other sides.
Thank you. Thank you.
Propaganda is strong.
It always is.
I think people's voices are still stronger.
They always are.
Yeah, I'm now in the let's say phase of publishing my own thoughts.
Okay.
Well, it's about information business. No, that's not it. So, am I taking your time?
No, well, I'm still recording.
Well, I don't care.
Okay, let's do this. Let me wrap up the video. You wait right here. I'm just going to wrap up the video. So okay, now let me get my train of thought going. All right. We're gonna end the video here. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop, right, Mike? The Duran shop. Pick up the best merch. The link is in the description box down below. Take
Sorry,
care,
guys. I didn't want to. I did not intend to do it.
Me and Mike. We wish you all a good day. Take care, everybody.